Oh, hello, and welcome to Adente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy, most pasta, and most analog. For tonight, we have another analog horror theater. And we are continuing with the trend of Jurassic Park analog horror. Part 2. We're going to cover a few more Jurassic Park analog horrors. Mikey, the E stands for evil, is not here with us tonight, but we are going to press on. As we had mentioned in the previous episode with the analog horror of Jurassic Park variety, it's a subgenre or trending subject of analog horror, which is basically a video storytelling medium that uses analog video presentation formats to usually like as instructions or to show footage or tell a story about some horrific creature or anomaly or other horror scenario. And in this case, it's Jurassic Park themed with like using the technology and the presentation from the 90s films, and often creating an alternate reality of the film's in-world scenarios where shit just got harder or like something weird happened with the dinos.
It's not alternate reality at all, because it's entirely possible that all this shit actually happened.
Well, for the ones we've been doing, yeah, it's a lot of the running theme between Jurassic Park Analog Horror 1 and 2 that we've been covering has been that they are actually fairly tied to, like, they're basically expanding on stuff that could have happened in the world around the films. But I
see the films from one perspective, right?
Yeah, exactly. But like certainly there are I do know there are some other Jurassic Park analog horror video series that go into a little bit more different things. Like there's like something where like they accidentally brought back some kind of like infestation or infection when they cloned the dinosaurs, and now they're starting to mutate or something. Like that's one out there that I've heard about.
Like a prehistoric virus or something like that.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And so there's like some stuff like that that's been mentioned in other video series. But yeah, we're gonna focus mostly on like the ones that are kind of connected to, or like they seem to have like a connection to the film universe, and basically just elaborate on instances that could have happened before or after or between films and stuff like that.
Or during,
yeah. Actually, in the case of the latter for our episodes today. So tonight we have an appetizer and a main course. The appetizer being Lost Tapes from Isla Sorna, Found Footage. It's by DINOX86 or Olivier Paterel. They're on YouTube. You may remember that name and that YouTube channel from our previous episode, because they dropped this video between recordings. Like I think right after we had recorded the last episode, they dropped a new video, which isn't tied to the previous videos, but is kind of it's another found footage analog horror video series video that they made. So
last week's main course, right? Not last week's appetizer.
Yeah, it would have been from the main course. So we're doing an app today. This week's appetizer is connected to the main course of last week's episode. Are we confused yet? And then we're also going to, for the main course, we also have the InGen 1993 incident videos by Kurt Belsommen on YouTube. So I just want to sound a little French and snooty there, like a French waiter at a or maitre d'. Although I didn't sound French at all.
You really didn't. You were just kind of
more just like snooty British maitre d'. It's like
yeah.
And it comes with a fine wine of human blood.
I'm sorry.
But anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, yeah, for our appetizer, we're gonna do Lost Tapes from Isla Sorna, found footage. For I guess an initial recommendation for this one, I'm gonna recommend it.
I also will.
All right. Well, let's. I'll have a little rundown for it. Again, I encourage you to go check out the videos. They're only a few minutes long. This one chalks in about 8 minutes, 47 minutes, or 8 minutes and 47 seconds.
Okay. If you want me to watch it, I'll go do that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, welcome back.
Wow.
Yeah, for the rundown though, it's basically a series of recovered videos from Isla Sorna, presumably pre-Jurassic Park 3. So somewhere between the Lost World Jurassic Park, when the island became a nature preserve, and before the events of Jurassic Park 3. That shows some of the ill-fated illegal tourist trips to the island and the short-lived survivors' last moments therein. So it's like kind of a compilation of different experiences of people dying and getting eaten by dinosaurs.
Done good.
No, there's like one. I don't know. We never find out the fate of the girl. We presumably her dad either got taken away by a pterodactyl, or sorry, a pteranodon, or just like didn't make it out when the plane crashed. But
yeah, because we didn't actually hear from him again.
Yeah, there's just a lot of screaming, and then last we saw was the daughter kind of walking around with the camera. It's like, I can't believe I survived this. But yeah, I guess we'll dive into actual thoughts with this one. I've got my analog horror theater like standard here of technical standpoints, and then I have like character actions and plot points.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so starting with technical standpoints. Again, these are all CGI animated, which is perfectly fine. I don't think we're trying to. They're not really trying to fool anybody that these are real. And I don't think there's. And again, the filter. I mean, even the filters and the quality of the video does actually kind of help a long way for like hiding some of those flaws in the CGI.
Oh, for sure.
So like if you're watching this on your phone versus like watching on a TV screen or a computer screen, it might just have enough there that it feels real, which is fun. Like it's just nice immersive like level to it. And actually, honestly, the airplane, like up until like when they're in the airplane, specifically, it felt very like that was a really well detailed airplane, like interior airplane.
So good.
Yeah. There's a couple of instances where it's like, no, that is definitely CGI. But that one, the airplane honestly felt very good and very well produced. So, what else do I have here? Yeah, this one I was actually surprised like how well it was with the because it's all daytime shots. Like none of it's nighttime shots, so like there's not the sort of like you're able to hide things in the dark with the darkness and stuff like that. And it actually kind of made it kind of felt like I was watching a darker version of like the Jurassic Park animated stuff, like Camp Cretaceous or Chaos Theory, which are like CGI animated series that are on Netflix and such that like take place after like during the events of like Jurassic World and like those movies. So it kind of felt like that, almost like kind of like we're watching like a found footage version of one of those animated series. Also, I'm pretty sure. Speaking of when I said earlier with the airplane shot, I think DINOX86 teased that shot in the last video we covered. In the previous one, where like there's an airplane taking off during like the little like kind of after action report thing that the character from the previous videos had.
I didn't even think about that.
It looks very similar, like the whole like airplane taking off, and like even the landscape around it is like these mountains with like these like this sort of like desert mountain area. This one I think like they must have like done a little bit more detail on the like outside as well, because it seemed a little bit better in terms of like, or better rendered than the previous one. And actually I think a lot of that also comes to the fact that like So that previous one was like it was an open, like wide angle shot of the airplane taking off. In this one, we get this kind of janky like camcorder walking into the plane and like looking out the window stuff. So it's like it helps the realism and helps helps it feel more natural.
Yeah, it's a lot more believable.
Yeah. Voice acting also was really good, though the screams could have been a little bit more amplified during the airplane crash.
Yeah, actually, because
like
I was just gonna counter you. I'm like, when they're getting killed by dinos and shit, that was
no,
all
that's
good.
Great. Well, honestly, like the Dilophosaurus attack at the very end, that was perfect. He was like ah, and then the thing jumps at him, and it immediately cuts short, and that was perfect. Like that was great. But yeah, there was a couple of like just like it was for the most part really good, like the voice acting. The gondola shot, like that, where it's like the guy's like walking around this like and trying to like call for help, and he looks up and like zooms in at this gondola shot. And he's like, "Oh, that's creepy." I was like, "Yeah, no, that's a really good creepy moment." Where just this imagine like you're at the park like on a gondola like looking over like overseeing like the work and stuff like that, and then the power goes out and you're just stuck there.
Yeah, that'd be a problem.
Yeah, it'd be that it's like that movie Frozen, not the animated movie with the snowman that gets impaled.
I was like, really?
There's another movie called Frozen where it's a bunch of it's some skiers who are at a resort, and they're on the lift, and they're halfway up the mountain when the power goes out, and people they apparently they get left behind, like people forget them.
Damn.
So they're just left up there for like a few days to freeze and like fall off the lift. And there's like wolves underneath, like below them and stuff like that. So like I could see that being like a really like harrowing, that could be a really cool scenario if somebody was like stuck in that gondola, with like pteranodons or even like a T-Rex or a raptor or something like that below them. And then I also really liked the bit at the very end with the Mr. DNA. Like it was actually
It's kind of name. Was he just called Mr. DNA?
Yeah, in the movie he's like, Mr. DNA, where did you come from? From your blood. Yes. But yeah, Mr. DNA is that whole bit was like clearly it's a custom version because but it was really well done.
Was it a custom version or was it just a like a cut and paste from the movie?
I'm pretty sure it was. I don't recognize it. And there was a teaser that DINOX86 released before this one that kind of showed a little bit like a closer look at that projection, and it seemed like it seemed like it was a custom version, and like well produced version.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's so well done. I didn't realize.
Yeah. Also, the blood sim after the Dilophosaurus gets the guy at the end was a nice touch. Like just the kind of, although there was a lot of blood, like
a little goopy.
It was a little thick, like maybe a little bit smaller, like a little bit like lower to the ground, like might have made more sense. But like otherwise, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it's like partially hardened Jello.
Yeah,
like it's real thick.
It's pretty goopy. I do think the Rex versus the Spinosaurus shot prior could have been animated a little bit better. It did kind of show like the sort of the stiffness of the animation of when they're fighting each other.
Yeah, that's partially also because of the shot placement itself of the dude basically just hiding behind a car and more or less filming filming the fight as if there was a director behind him saying, "Okay, the dinosaurs are gonna attack. Go film it now. Go."
Yeah. You know? I actually have that in my thought. My character actions and plot stuff is like, why did he stick around and not continue running toward the shelter when the Spino and the Rex showed up or like faced off?
Maybe he just wanted to be quiet and he thought that they distracted each other. Well, if they're distracting each other, that'd be a good time to run away. Yeah, you're right.
And actually,
but here's the thing: the director told him to film the fight. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. Like, I mean, obviously, like if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have this cool shot that the animator, the creator wanted to make. However, a counterpoint to this to make it more realistic, I actually think it would be really cool and might help with the shortcomings of the animation of the model animations. if it actually focused on him, like he like sees the Spinosaurus coming and like confronting the T-Rex, then starts turning around and like in a panic and starts running for the door. And as he's running, we get some Foley behind him of the fight. That way, like it's sort of like it's a little bit more like less is more. Like it leaves the audio would leave the audience to think that like, oh yeah, there's a fight going on, and it makes sense that this guy is not sticking around.
Because when he's sitting there filming it, like, I mean, if you want to have him sit there and filming it, cool. But realistically, with the amount of just dino meat being thrown around there, it would be shaking the whole fucking world. Like, he would not be as like steady as he is filming this. Like every time, like a T-Rex comes in and bites him, he's gonna be like shaking and stuff. Like every step is gonna make his camera move. You need to like add in those kind of extra bits, and also like the shakiness of the camera would hide more of the potential flaws in the animation, because it's hard to animate two dinosaurs fighting. That shit's difficult. I'm sure.
No, like I'm not throwing shade at all to the animation.
No, hell no.
Yeah, like this is a really cool like production. These are just some like constructive criticism points and like stuff, but
kudos to you to actually like go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like you're saying, like I like the even like a little bit of the Star Trek, whoa, like the shake on the camera, like have the camera shake whenever things happen. That happened a couple of times in the story where I felt like there would have been more shake on the camera because like of the way the character acted. There is some good jank like to it, like as characters are running around and stuff. But there's like it felt like there should have been a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
To make it feel a little bit more real. I think that's it for my technical standpoint stuff, and then onto the character actions and plot.
Actually, before you do that, with the camera shake, a little bit more, yes, but not too much, because like I recently started watching the Bourne movies, like Jason Bourne. I think it's like the second movie. The fight scenes, it's just the camera guy is just having a seizure every time there's a fight scene. You can't see anything.
Yeah. Oh, they also like because like that those fights are also like heavily like cut up. So I like it's sort of like you gotta find a balance, because also for found footage films, like I've watched some found footage films where I feel car sick. Or like my eyes start hurting because I'm like straining to like keep this thing stable.
But you gotta like, what is the balance point? Do you want to make it very watchable for everyone, or do you want to make it as realistic as possible? Because realistically, it would be hard to watch because the camera guy isn't necessarily trying to frame a good shot and keep it stable. He's trying to survive.
No, that's true. Like these aren't like also like. This is set in the 90s, so like, or like the late 90s. I think like somewhere between like 94 and 97, because that's when like Lost World before, it would be 97 to 99, I guess, or 2000, because that's when Lost World stopped or ended and Jurassic Park like happened. So, but like even then, like camcorders, like they didn't have stabilizers back then, like a lot of camcorders now like do now. So like there'd be a lot of shake.
For sure.
And it's not like GoPros and stuff like that, which I thought like might be an interesting thing if like characters like had GoPros on their chest, so like that make more sense of like how they're like able to move around and stuff. But again, these are all tourists who are like going to this island illegally. So,
was even a thing in the 90s?
Yeah, of course. No,
were they?
Yeah, my dad, like I mentioned it last week. My dad has like from the late 80s, early 90s. My dad had home cameras that he like filmed like home movies of us and stuff like that. So
no, I know home cameras, GoPros like strapped to your chest.
Oh, GoPros. You said GoPro. Sorry, I must have missed that. I think GoPros existed in the early 2000s because like actually, hang on, because
I don't know, man. Because like
hang on.
The way I think of GoPros is as a digital medium. I don't know if there were GoPros that you had to like load in a freaking tape, because that realistically these are all tape recordings, or at least that's what they're emulating.
Yeah, they would have been like 8mm. 2004 was the company when the company first the company first sold that camera system.
Also, is 8mm the right wording for that? I'm referring to like the small little VHS tapes.
I'm thinking 35mm. That's what it was. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, 35 millimeters is like a camcorder type. And actually, it wasn't until 2006 that GoPros went digital.
Oh, so there were some GoPros previously.
Yeah, in like the early 2000s, but not like this early kind of thing.
I kind of miss the old tech where like you crack it open, you like pull something out of it, and you have to load something new into it and close it.
Yeah, like again, like that's like Marble Hornets, and like so like captured that because like they find like a bunch of like 35 millimeter tapes in a bag in a hole in the woods that the character like has to like go through and like find like all this like footage of how they found a bunch of creepy Slenderman shit. So yeah, and like my dad, again, like I actually got my dad for Christmas I think last year, basically a 35 millimeter cassette holder for all of his tapes because he had like I think 75 plus tapes, or it might even be 100 or more tapes.
Yeah,
but yeah, and it is like from like 80s. I think it's like from the mid 80s on to like through the 90s and into the 2000s. So. Yeah, somebody who grew up with that kind of stuff, it's easy to like to see that this stuff did exist back then. Though, again, the GoPro stuff did not exist, and I think when these videos were happening. But also actually on the term of the tapes, or on the talking about the tapes, on the subject of the tapes, who gathered these tapes? Was it InGen? Was it Biosyn, InGen's competitors? I mean, they were on the island creating the Spino, so, or at least that's the theory.
I don't think it was InGen because like they're putting it together to like show the shit that they were doing, you know.
It could have been an Earth First group. Like there's sort of like a in the Lost World, the character Van Owen is kind of found out to be basically an Earth First like bioterrorist. But and that only means like basically they're against corporations using biotech. Like
that's
the way,
a good thing.
Yeah, it's sort of a good thing because they're basically eco terrorists. So like they go in and like try and show the corruption of corporations meddling with nature and stuff. So it could have been like one of those groups. Hell, maybe after they contacted some of these seedy tourist group companies that are down in Costa Rica. It's like, hey, so like we've noticed that like a couple of these like families have been complaining that their family members have gone missing after going on one of your tours. Could you tell us where you went so we can like take a look? And then they go on the island and since they're like some of them are like professional like botanists or biologists, they know like to stay away from certain like wild animals and stuff. So they might be able to get around like some of the dinos for like a short trip and get these cameras or get this footage that they find as they're finding bodies or like what's left of the person.
Yeah, it's also possible that InGen themselves gathered up all this stuff and like they're keeping it for their own archives, cut it together into one tape, and basically hid it somewhere.
And then somebody got like an info leak or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what was the in Shadowrun? Wait, Mikey's not here. I can't say sorry.
You can apologize to him. He might be listening.
In Shadowrun, isn't there like was it like info or like or was it it was you could like get like pay data. That's what it was. Like we're Shadowrunners, which are like a corporate thing too. Like they're basically like corporate espionage. Like somebody like broke into like a corporate mainframe or hard drive system or something like that, or and stole like data that's worth a lot of money if leaked or something like that. That could actually be a whole. I remember I used that when we were running our Shadowrun campaigns.
Well, you probably did, but that was a dog's age ago.
That's true. Although now the thing is, like, I kind of want to run a like a Shadowrun game but you're like going to Isla New, you're going to like an InGen like facility to acquire pay data for from like some cover-ups. I think that would actually be really good. And then of course, you know, they also happen to have like they also of course on the facility they'd have some kind of like dinosaur projects going on like breakout, and then you have to deal with that.
Yeah, but in a Shadowrun universe, they would either be cyber dinos or magic dinos or cyber dinos.
Is that wrong?
When the magic cyber dinos aren't on my side, yes.
I see.
Yes.
Actually, on our PPR, they did their Shadowrun games. One of them actually does involve intelligent psychic raptors. at an Ares facility that the characters are breaking into.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, or it's pretty like funny and also like terrifying. But back to this. I also really like so that this video also kind of like again fully elaborate or like goes really into the scenario proposed in Jurassic Park 3 at the beginning with the whole thing of like illegal tourism that I'm sorry, would have existed if the world found out that, like there was an island of dinosaurs in like off the coast of Costa Rica. There'd be some seedy like tourist trap like businesses going on. It's like, yeah, we oh yeah, man, we can take you out to the 5 Death Islands.
Didn't that happen at the start of Jurassic Park 2 or 3 or some shit?
Yeah, like I mean, in Jurassic Park 3, they do that. Like they're paragliding along the coastline of Isla Sorna, and and then the character, and then something eats the boat.
Yeah.
It's still up in the air whether or not that was the Spinosaurus that like apparently ninja'd the boat, the people on the boat, or if it was like the Mosasaur or something, or some
absolutely the giant freaking ocean murdering lizard thing. Like,
here's the thing is like they do kind of. Unfortunately, Jurassic Park 3 was like heavily like a lot of the continuity of that story was heavily like influenced by like the jank that was like production. So like a lot of those scenes were rewritten and like added on and stuff like that. So like the continuity is a little fuzzy, but the reason why people thought it was the Spinosaurus that was like apparently going out into the shallows along the island's coastline is because later on in the movie, the Spinosaurus ambushes the boat from the river, like by basically swimming next to it and like jumping up or basically popping up and starting wrecking house. So,
I guess we don't know how good he can swim.
Yeah, no. Spinosauruses are they're basically a T-Rex crocodile.
Nice.
With a giant. Yeah, thanks. I hate it.
Yeah,
they were primarily like they were one of the largest. They're one of the largest theropod like dinosaurs, but they probably ate fish and marine life more than like terrestrial life. So, hence why they have kind of more of a crocodilian face, like a snout and such. So, but I digress. I'm Dino Manning. I'm Dino Man nerding out here. One thing I do want to bring up. So like again, like there's the first video we get is the dad and then like a daughter like going on a flight to Isla Sorna. Was that Alistair Grant from the previous video? Like did he just go on a trip with his kid after the events he experienced on the previously on Isla Nublar? Mainly because I mainly asked this because the voice actor sounds the exact same.
And I'm gonna say yes, probably.
But it's like he was a security guard on Isla Nublar when shit hit the fan there, and then he thought it would be a good idea after those events, after experiencing that shit, to take his kid on an illegal tourist flight over the other island that's not even regulated.
I mean, yeah, okay. When you say it like that, it's probably not him, but it could be.
Yeah.
It'd be like the only way that he can like get past his like PTSD from what happened is to like witness it again from afar.
He has to face his fear. It's like, Dad, like it's like his wife's just like, honey, it'd be really good if you went on this trip and like she really loves your daughter really loves dinosaurs. Like it'd be really, and like I know you have this fear after what happened at the other island, but I really think this will be good for you. Like you'll face your fears and so that. And it's like a few weeks later, crunch, chomp.
Yeah.
Or he's the guy that's being picked up by a pteranodon and just flown away to be eaten elsewhere.
The start when the girl gets out of the aircraft at the start, yeah.
You know, honestly, I imagine if that had been her dad, she would have like called out like and be a little bit more frantic because like. But also, that's kind of a surreal moment. Also, like even though like dinosaurs exist on this island, you've never seen a dinosaur before, like in real life, and so that would be just sort of a surreal situation. It's like that's kind of funny. Just like you don't know how you're gonna react to that. Like just like do you take that at face value, or do you just kind of like start slipping away into like you have to like have compartmentalize.
It was also so far away that she might not have been able to notice who it was specifically.
Yeah. That's
just
true.
A dude.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just like a funny moment there. It's like Alistair Grant survives Nublar only to be eaten on Sorna.
Sounds about right.
Yep. I mean, it makes me also think because like there's even like again the video of the airplane taking off in the desert mountains at the end of the previous video, which he was narrating. So.
Right, he lost his leg potentially.
Did he? Yes, you're right. He did. Yeah.
But he wasn't doing any running in this. If that was him being carried away.
He was actually, yeah, he was also like, he was walking to the airplane, but I mean, he could have like crutches or something like that, or.
Well, again, we had a first-person shot of him ever.
No, we never see him. We just hear him.
Yeah. So he could have been hobbling behind his daughter the whole time.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's I think that's all I have in my notes for this one. I mean, again, the raptor, like I will say again, like there's another shot we get with a pteranodon attack and a raptor attack at the same time. That guy really couldn't catch a break.
Was that area specifically from the movies? It looks so familiar.
Part of it is like actually so there's a cliffside, like the cliffside stuff, and actually in the distance you can see the dome where like the pteranodons live. That is actually from Jurassic Park. That's actually, it looks like it's pulled partially from Jurassic Park 3. That one was also really well modeled. Like that was a really well done like model because that almost looked real.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the cliffside and stuff like that. Like I'm curious where, like if that was like how that was modeled. If that was like done in like some kind of engine or like a game. But yeah, that's my my actual thoughts for Lost Tapes of Isla Sorna. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything more, Dave? Or yeah, do you have any? Yeah, do you have anything more, Gamer?
Probably. I chimed in with some of my things. Let's see what we didn't talk about. In regards to like the rendering quality, I feel like out of all the ones that I've seen so far, this is the best, I think.
Yeah.
At least in regards to like the first person walking around in the plane and walking around outside and stuff like that. Like in regards to the person walking around and in an environment.
Yeah. Yeah, like the original like material or like original animation material, yeah, this one definitely feels it very well produced.
Yeah. And then one part I forgot to bring up about like the camera shake in regards to the plane, like when the girl's going to sit down.
Yeah.
It's again not shaking as much. It almost felt more like it was a GoPro in that situation, or it was like, I think I brought this up in the previous one, or it almost looks like someone is gently sitting down and they have a VR headset on and they don't want to have it fall off. Because it's like, it moves over and then like goes down very smoothly. Meanwhile, this character's like super hyped. Like this character should be bouncing all over the place because she's going to Jurassic Park, basically.
Yeah.
And like that's my whole problem with that whole first scene is just like she's super excited, but it doesn't come across in the camera. And the way I would get around that is basically get a camcorder. Get your dad's camcorder. Yeah, you have a dad who has a camcorder. I can say that to anyone because everyone's dad has a camcorder. Basically,
I was gonna say I feel incredibly seen right now. Even
yeah.
Never mind the fact that I mentioned that my dad has one.
Yeah,
I was even using it like a couple months ago.
Everybody's dad's got a camcorder. Hook that bad boy up, charge it up, and like put a chair next to a window. Walk up to it while you're saying the lines in the headspace of you're super excited to go there and see how you would actually do it, because it was like it just wasn't as jumpy as I feel like it should have been.
Fair.
Because like, and I watched the scene multiple times because it bothered me and I wanted to see why. And like the more I watched the scene, the more the shot felt like it was an NPC going to sit down in the chair.
I'm gonna actually pull it up right now and just check to see.
It's specifically the transition.
Like how they're
it's
just like
PC guy I was showing you on YouTube, like him sitting down in a chair, basically.
Yeah, it definitely feels like my God, that was like just gonna slowly sit down.
Yeah, it's like they have a boil on their butt and they don't want to hurt it or something.
Yeah, they got hemorrhoids.
Yeah. But again, I don't know the way that they're recording the camera moves.
The windows have reflections. The glass on the windows have fucking reflections, like the very subtle ones, but you can see like some movement going on inside a reflection. That's fucking great.
It's so good. Like rendering technology is so good these days. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Especially when you hide it with VHS filters, that helps a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, also, this is somewhat related to what we were just talking about. In regards to like her sitting down and saying, "I want to sit by the window."
Yeah.
Every single seat is a window seat.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. That is.
It's like, well, good luck. Lucky you. Literally every seat is a window seat.
It's like, well, I've got good news, honey. Every seat is a window seat.
Yeah. And also, like, when she brings it up, is kind of an odd timing for it as well, because she brings it up as she's in the motion of sitting in the seat, saying, like, I want to sit by the window.
Yeah.
Where it feels like this,
maybe it should have been
like, that line would,
yeah,
like, that line would work either A, when they're walking up the stairs, because she isn't aware if there's window seats or not. And then she could be like, "Oh, sweet, they're all window seats, yeah!" Or or like have it so there is a non-window seat option, so then that gives her a reason to say that she wants the window seat. Or have someone else walking ahead of her, so she's bringing up the fact that she wants a window seat, so her dad ahead of her will let her take the window seat.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, the way it was just kind of weird.
No, I get you. Yeah.
And then
it's like, yeah, like, hey, what is this? It's like, well, honey.
Well, which window seat do you want? Window seat. There's 5 of them. Actually, that's a weird number. I guess if you want to count the pilot seat, that's the uneven number of windows. Regardless.
So I'm at the part in the movie because I'm watching it like while we were talking, because I started watching that video. That fucking bridge scene is so fucking good. Like the environment of it. Like the only issue I have is really like when they get close up to that red door, it kind of looks like a fake, like a CGI door, but like everything else like looks so good. And there's even a crack when the pteranodon attacks the camera. Sorry, your go.
Sorry, I was rewatching it too because I wanted to see the door you were mentioning. Yeah. But yeah, it was so good, and the voice acting of that area was all really nice.
Yeah, this is really well done. Like, again, like it's somebody doing it on and posting on YouTube. Like it's like a fan thing, but it's so well done. Like even despite some of the flaws we've kind of picked at with our constructive criticism, it's still really good and like well rendered.
But moving on from what I was talking about with the window seat, we're technically still in the window seat area, but about something different. About specifically the jump scare of the impact with the engine.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that whole thing is really muted. Like it should be a way more extravagant event. What's happening? And like again, I'm going back to the camera shake. I'm sorry. I hope this next one isn't like that Jason Bourne movie now because I keep bringing this up. I'll feel really sad. But yeah, it feels like it's too much. Like someone says, "Okay, something's going to impact the wing. Be surprised." Like that's the kind of level of camera shake we have, where it's someone that isn't actually surprised; they're pretending to be surprised, because they want to, and like they're holding the shot on the wing because they want to show the fire simulation and smoke simulation that they've done.
Yeah, no, that's
not
true.
Because something hit the wing and oh god, we're gonna crash.
Because definitely should have like maybe like looked around. Like there should have been a little bit more frantic looking around the cabin of the airplane before, like, because like that'd be the natural reaction, like looking to help, looking to others for help because of like the situation.
And she might be doing that. Her eyes aren't the camcorder.
Yeah,
you know.
Then the camera, I feel like the camera, like you, I think like you might be saying, or like you were saying earlier, the camera should like, even if that's the case, like again, like she's looking around elsewhere. The camera should be either be like listing or like frantically listing away from like that shot a little bit.
Because like for me, at least, I feel a natural reaction to this happening would be to duck and cover. Like basically have the explosion happen, have it like the camera perspective recoil back a bit, but then immediately just pan down to the back of the seat as the characters like bringing the camera over their head as they're crouching down, because like a freaking explosion just happened outside there basically. And like, yeah, you could peek back up and like film it if you want, but to see what's happening after the fact. But that initial impact did not have enough impact, in my opinion.
That's honestly, I agree. Like even like a small, like a shirking down away from the window, just like as again, it's a reaction. It's a natural reaction of people when like a projectile explodes or something like that. You like duck down. You duck.
Yeah, because the way that this and literally every single Jurassic Park analog horror thing I've seen so far happens is when something crazy happens, the need to record trumps the need for self-preservation at all times.
Yeah.
It's like every single person that is recording is a professional camera guy. And like they go to war zones. They've done wars, and like so like they're prepared and hardened for this sort of thing. Meanwhile, it's not the case.
to quote the news lady talking to her camera guy from the movie Wreck, always keep recording. God damn it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's sort of like at least from this creator and the other one that we did for in the last episode, there definitely does seem to be like a reaction that these characters have when they have a camera. It's like the T-Rex shows up, zoom in to its face, zoom back out, now run.
Granted, that did not happen in this one.
It's a money shot, and then run.
Yeah. There were too many money shots in this one. There was like there's a zoom on the gondola that was like paused there.
Yeah, but that's fine. Like, cause like, yeah,
which is okay. You're in a relatively safe area, and also in regards to that zoom, the zoom in and the refocus looks so good.
I know. I'm watching it right now, and like it also makes sense because like again, like he would like again like the raptor sounds happen after the after that. So like he's still walking around like looking like calling for help or trying to find help. And he like zooms in. The way I would have done that is like he's zooming in to see if he can see anybody inside.
Yeah,
like he's zooming in to get a closer look. Really, it's like using binoculars basically with the camera.
Much, yeah.
But yeah,
which would be the smartest reason to be recording is to use it as a better set of eyes than your own in this sort of situation.
Yeah. And then he also gets a money shot, like where he's like zooms into the raptors that are talking to each other.
Yes.
Behind a, I do feel like that one, like, I wasn't sure if I didn't realize that a raptor was like, pulling him from behind. I think
running away backwards.
Yeah, it kind of looked like that when I first watched it, and then I realized that he was being pulled. I think he should have like hit the deck basically, and like. Maybe like had his hand like crawl, like trying to grab on or something like that, like grab onto something as he's being pulled away. Like he should have been closer to the ground, I think.
Yeah, you're right, actually, because like,
when you first watch it, like it does kind of feel like he's just like backing up, like oh god, and then you realize, oh no, he's being grabbed like they do in the movies, like they grab them and like whisk them off.
I think I might know what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Take a shot if I say camera shake, but it's the way that the camera is shaking. Because like, if you're being dragged, that camera's not going to be bobbing like you're walking. It's actually not going to do that at all. It's just going to pull. Yeah,
exactly. So like the way I think that's the camera shake makes it look like he's running fast. He's like he's like Venkman and Egon and them at the very beginning of Ghostbusters as they're like running away scared backwards through like the library away from the ghost.
Yes. And also, so if this was being pulled back straight and way lower, like if you're getting grabbed from like your leg or something and you're being dragged ass first, your hands are out front with the camcorder there.
Yeah.
So the camcorder lens is at the height of the freaking grass.
Yeah,
it should be in the grass getting pulled back.
We should get some really cool grass physics as he's getting like pulled through the grass. Like again, just like to make that shot better. That's all we're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, we're not saying like, oh, you should have done this, you're wrong. No, this is great the way it is, but there's always ways. Yeah, there's always ways to make it cooler and ideas and stuff for next time and all that.
Yeah. Also, I just gotta say, like, because I'm on the shot now of like him running away from the Spinosaurus and runs into the headquarters.
Yes.
This happens in Jurassic Park 3 as well, where like the Spinosaurus broke through steel, like metal beamed like fencing that was designed to keep the dinosaurs penned up. I mean, mind you, they were also supposed to be electrified.
Yes.
But like he bashes through like a huge like bunch of metal and stuff and like breaks through that fencing, and a door stops him both times. The door to the center, the tourist center, stops him both in this short film and in the actual movie. It's a little ridiculous.
When you say it like that.
I'm not throwing shade at this creator so much as I'm throwing shade at Jurassic Park 3.
In general, yeah, just Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I mean, that movie isn't the best one, but like it does have highlights. It also has a lot of like, again, it had a lot of problems in production. So like a lot of that, I think, kind of like falls, like kind of influenced like how well it was made. So. But yeah, I had to point that out because he's running for safety from the Spinosaurus after it notices him, and I just love how like in both of these cases like that Spinosaurus is stopped dead by the door of that center.
Can't possibly get through that.
No, unless it knew that the center was actually Dilophosaurus territory.
Oh, it's scared of the little Dilos.
I mean. You know, you say that, but like apparently in Camp Cretaceous, and I think even in Chaos, no, I think it's actually mostly in Camp Cretaceous, they use them as like bioweapon. Like they treat them like threatening bioweapons, like because of their toxic spit attack.
I mean, I guess, yeah. Especially if there's a crap load of them, like I guess they would kill a
they could take down
Spino.
Yeah. But
1v1, no, but
yeah, not 1v1, yeah, 1v1 chomp.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. Anything else for the lost tapes of Isla Sorna?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
We're kind of jumping around a bit. So, Mike, I have a question about the camcorders specifically, because like it's jumping around from multiple different characters who are all recording.
Yeah.
How many people have camcorders on this fucking plane?
Well,
because there's at least 4.
I was also not I you know that's a good point. I actually thought that it might have been like this is actually footage from like different people's cameras from other tours, not just the ones on this plane.
No, I'm pretty sure it's just that plane.
Now that you've pointed that out, it makes it, I actually now realize that like yeah, like this is all from that thing. But I mean, like again, like if you're going to an island of dinosaurs, I kind of feel like you're the odd man out if you don't have some kind of camera.
Yes, fair. But would everyone be like continually recording everything after the? I guess you might actually.
It might, yeah. Like for like,
this is a crazy event. Like if I survive this, I want to be able to relive this.
Yeah, it's also the sort of it's a lot more prevalent in like again in the 2000s. Because like that's the go-to reaction of like anybody with a camera on their phone is like pull out your phone, start videotaping. Maybe not even the late 90s, like maybe that's the case. But again, like I do feel like that is also a reaction. If you have a camera, you're going to use it to document something.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Just the way it is like with everyone just automatically recording as soon as they like wake up. And stuff like that. It feels like everyone had a GoPro running on their chest at all times from the get-go.
Maybe the company like offered them like here's your GoPro and we'll give you the footage after.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
That could be it, yeah.
Because like the scene that's the most egregious for that is when the girl wakes up from the crash and is climbing out, like grabs the camera first before like
she's
anything
even like,
else.
She's even like, oh, what happened? I can't believe I survived that. She's like walking around with the camera, like, is that glued to your hand?
I mean, they do have straps.
That's true. I'm still thinking it's like actually a camcorder, like not a GoPro.
No, like camcorders have a strap that goes over the back of your hand.
No, that's true. Yeah. It was still on their person, so they're just like, oh, just go, like, it's still on there, so I guess I'll just hold on to it and start filming.
Yeah.
Again, it's sort of like that's just really picking apart the whole like, why are people why are people videotaping in found footage films? That's like the time honored. That's like that's like the biggest like pet peeve I think of found footage films. Like, why?
Yeah, it's
you need to find a reason.
I always look for like realism in things and like think about it. If I was in that situation, what would I do personally? Would it be the same? But like, I get it. You're trying to tell a story and show a story, and you can't do those things if there's no recording. Yeah. Or if they're not showing it, So I totally get it.
Yeah, like there's a certain point you have to like kind of like it's great when they can find a reason why the character would be videotaping. But at the end of the day, also there's sometimes like the audience has to kind of like suspend their disbelief because like these people are trying to create a story, and so like they're using the found footage format.
Yep, for sure. Yep. And then
Sorry. Again, like I've been watching this video over and over again. I got to the brachiosaurs, like the girl, the person like walking through the like near the jungle and like sees that brachiosaurus. Like, God, these shots are so well rendered. The environments are so cool.
So cool. And even in broad daylight, which is amazing.
And it's like different types of daylight too. Like we just went from like that one shot with the brachiosaurus, which was like pretty like strong day, and then we cut to like the next one, which is like it's a like almost overcast day light. Like the lighting is really varied here. So good. Sorry.
It is good.
Continue.
Yes. My next note is we actually see humans a little bit in this. Yeah. More noticeably at the end with the raptor murder.
Yeah.
But even earlier on in the plane, you actually see a guy's arm in the left side of one of the shots.
Yep.
So it's good that they're showing people here, because realistically, it is not a ghost walking around in a empty world of dinosaurs. Empty world of dinosaurs. Empty world of humans that only has dinosaurs in it.
Yeah.
So like I give you props for that, and granted, when the human attack happens, the human doesn't look as photoreal as everybody else.
Again, this is where like if you honestly like look the model they chose looks very much like a character from Camp Cretaceous. I keep going back to that, but like that's kind of what this feels like. It feels like this is like a lost episode of Camp Cretaceous or Chaos Theory.
Hell yeah.
Again, because like it's just like the dinosaurs are all like really well done, and then the humans are just like a cartoon character, or are like clearly CGI characters.
Yes, for sure. And granted, like I said before, like I'm giving you props for wanting to do that, because it's so easy to just show the environments, just show vehicles and dinos, and then have like analog horror informational stuff in between it. But like actually straight up showing it, that's good.
Because this is the same guy that, like, again, DINOX86 is the same person that had the human hand, like, as the T-Rex is about to come down on the guy. It's like, no!
Yeah.
Like, so it was like, it looked like a photorealistic human hand, like popping up on screen, like, to, like, basically, like, shield himself.
That one may have been a JPEG, I'm unsure.
I think it might, I honestly think you're right. It might have been, like, added in, like, post-production, or I say post-production, or post-production, like this is like like it was actually filmed on set.
Of course it was. This is real.
Yeah, clearly.
Look at that brachiosaur.
I know that it's so cool. So cool. Yeah. Honestly, the only model that I really had a beef with is the Spino. The Spino is probably like it's probably the worst model. Yeah, but it did not look as good as the other ones have looked to me.
Fair enough.
I think that, but that's just again personal preference. Like I think like maybe it's just like the model that they had or like they used. It wasn't as like, to me it wasn't as like well designed as like the other ones were. But again, I'm not shitting on the person.
Of course not. But back to the CG person getting murdered by Dino by the raptor. The only other thing I got to bring up about it is like, okay, first off, I really like that this happened, and it's good for immersion purposes because most of the time when someone dies, it's just like, oh, there's a dinosaur, and then it cuts out. But here, like, the camera gets dropped and you witness it happen, which is really cool.
You have like concrete confirmation that yes, the camera guy died.
Granted, it was like the most gentle raptor attack I've ever seen in my life. like look at it. He's like he's really slow with his murdering. Like he's very gently stepping on him, and then it's like, more like he like leaned in to give him a little smooch.
A gentle lover.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I honestly like it's like very confident. It's like you're fucked. Like I got you. It's like let me just
you're mine now.
Let me just crunch your face. All right, you're dead.
Yeah, that might be a different way to look at it.
Yeah.
We're just like, yep, you're mine now, bitch.
Because like there's scenes like that in Jurassic Park 3 where like the character like they just casually step on the guy's back and like break his and like cut his spine.
I guess that's true, yeah.
And then like they just like he's like when they realize their trap's done, the guy's still alive, but he's like paralyzed, and they just like the raptor just casually like puts the guy's head in its mouth and just snaps his neck. Yeah. Which is like, damn, the raptors know how to snap a neck.
They can open doors, so of course they can snap necks.
They can open doors, they can snap some necks.
Yeah. Raptors are scary.
Yeah. Apparently raptors are also friends of Crick.
Mm-hmm. And also Steven Seagal.
Yes. Yeah.
To a lesser extent, I hope.
Yeah. But yeah, I digress.
No, I digress.
Yes. We digress.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I brought up the last note. Yes, because like about the dino fight and him holding on the shot too long. Yeah. And my very last note is just I like that the Dino DNA guy is like talking in the background while the horror is happening.
Yeah.
At the end, it's like a very nice contrast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like cool. This, yeah, again I think that's actually part of to me like that's actually like where the analog horror element is, and is like cuz like it's this like instructional video or this introduction video that's like all like promoting the park stuff. Meanwhile, this horror is happening. Like that's the nice contrast between like the format and the reality of the situation.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, if that's it for actual thoughts, suppose we'll move on to final thoughts. So yeah, it's a cool concept piece, showing different scenarios of ill-fated trips or of an ill-fated trip and multiple ill-fated survivors or short-lived survivors.
Victims. They're not survivors.
Really, well, they were short-lived. They survived the plane crash.
I guess, yeah.
It was basically just an Uber Eats for the dinos.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, like on Isla Sorna, like pre-Jurassic Park 3, or maybe this was happening like after Jurassic Park 3. Like maybe that stuff was still going on like in the years after the third movie. Because again, in the third movie we get that like people are there's at least one company out there on Costa Rica that is doing boat tours, like paragliding boat tours of the island.
So dumb.
Yeah. For some personal project by an animator or creator like team, or maybe even like just one person who's a fan of Jurassic Park, this is really cool and has some really good creepy moments and kills, all in daylight lighting. So like it's really well done for that. Obviously there is some like room for growth and some room for improvement, but like what's here is still really good. Yes. So yeah, I would definitely still recommend this. obviously there might be a caveat of like the previous videos we covered, like it might be situational. Like I wouldn't, if somebody didn't like Jurassic Park, I'm not going to show them this. But like if somebody's a fan of Jurassic Park and like the Lost World and like the movies and even like Camp Cretaceous, I would probably show them this, like without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, a gamer.
For me, I really like this one. Out of the very small sample size I have of Jurassic Park analog horror videos that I've seen, this one's probably my favorite so far. There's a lot of weird stuff in it that I like brought up earlier in regards to camera stuff and like everyone's recording all the time, stuff like that. But I like that there's like a story of them going down there to see dinos, and then this shit happens and they all get separated and everyone gets murdered. But like the rendering's all really good, and you see a little bit of wandering around before they get killed, and it's all done really well. So yeah, I'll recommend this one. There's always ways to improve it, but that's the same with everything except for Who Was Phone.
Of course.
Because that is peak.
Yeah. Now I'm just picturing a velociraptor on the other side of that phone.
Damn right.
Because I mean, they can open doors, they can snap necks, they can definitely pick up a phone.
Oh hell yeah, of course they can.
But who is phone? Velociraptors.
What's the guy's name from the? What's Professor Grant's first name?
Oh, Alan.
Alan. Yeah, the raptor going, Alan! Alan!
Alan. Yeah. Oh, that was a weird dream sequence in that movie. Again, it's in the third movie, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on a plane as they're going across going over the island. So yeah.
So good.
But yeah, on to the main. That was a pretty filling appetizer.
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, yeah, that's for this week's episode. No, we do have a main course. The InGen 1993 incident videos by Kurt Belsommen. They're on his YouTube channel. On YouTube. Did I just say YouTube channel?
Probably. On YouTube? You did.
They're on his YouTube channel. They're the only two videos he has on his channel. So, and I think actually one of them came out I think a year ago, and then the other one came out like a month ago. Yeah, Quarantine Pen Escape is the one that I was actually familiar with first, because again it was from one of the videos that 4Plus posted on their YouTube channel. So this one, yeah, Quarantine Pen Escape, Jurassic Park analog horror. I think we'll save initial recommendations because these are two videos that have like that connect to each other. So we'll wait till we finish both, like our thoughts and stuff on both of them, and then we'll give our recommendations. Mm-hmm. So after some promo footage, and so on to the rundown for Quarantine Pen Escape. So after some promo footage for the park by Hammond, the guy who created or who funded Jurassic Park, we get a story of two employees at the park, Edward Regis and Marco Gutierrez, who were pulled from leaving along with everyone else during the film's evacuation of non-essential personnel, right before the hurricane came in and like the power outage and stuff, to double check the quarantine pens on the island where the raptors were being kept, or where the head raptor was being kept. Due to the power outage, the raptor escapes and attacks, killing Marco in their attempt to flee and hide. We then get some more promo footage interspliced in of Hammond basically just like hoping the audience enjoyed their time at the park, and sort of in a stark contrast to the horror we just witnessed in the video. That's basically the gist of it. Again, go check it out. It's on YouTube. Quarantine Pen Escape, in brackets Jurassic Park analog horror, end bracket. And we'll dive into actual thoughts for this one. So for my technical standpoint stuff, I really like this one. This is actually kind of a break from what we've been watching previously, because in the previous ones, it's been mostly like a traditional style of filmmaking, or like even found footage filmmaking, even though it's all CGI. But like in this one, it's got that plunderphonic style format where it's using some old video material, probably some promo stuff from a video game or even for like the original movie.
I say like that was one of the questions I was going to bring up. Is that like from something before, or is that like AI generated or some shit?
No, I think it's all. I think this is all from like. I'm pretty sure this is all pulled from like promo material, either for a video game or from like. There was a lot of like promo stuff that was going around Jurassic Park, like after, because Jurassic Park, like when it landed hard, like big, like people loved it. So there was a ton of like footage, like stuff that got made around it, to like help promote it even further. So, yeah, and even even some of the footage, I know there's some game material footage used as well to like for elaborating certain scenes. Like the tourist lodging area that we get to like they get to walk to when the guys like bringing the luggage for the kids. I'm pretty sure is actually from a fan game I've seen before called Jurassic Dream.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's Jurassic Dream. Yeah. And I love that game. First off, I love that this footage exists. I love that game exists because we actually get to see what the lodging, what the tourist lodging would have looked like for Jurassic Park had the park opened. Like it would have been these like cool like kind of tropical island cabins basically. They were all like, and like, yeah, so like I love that exists, and like that they obviously use that kind of footage. I'm also pretty sure that they used some footage from what's it called, from actually DINOX86's T-Rex attack, or like T-Rex videos, because like some of those like rainy night scenes like near the storage, near the, I do in quotes, the storage the storage center and like the quarantine pen kind of look like the
when he parks far away
station. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they like some like.
Is it the same shot?
It might have been it might have been borrowed for this video. And again, that's part of the plunderphonic style. Like a lot of analog horror does is like, again, like you're not making any money off of these things. They're just kind of like fan things that people make to get to make creepy footage. So sometimes they just pull like video footage from other places and make it grainier and make it and like kind of like splice it into their own videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, also this one really pulls from things like the Mandela catalog in terms of like the having like when characters are talking, like actually like talking to each other. There's like there's face images, or like kind of like a mug, like a photo, like a shot of their photo of their face, or like a mug shot, and then they have like a transcription of their dialogue as they're talking underneath it. To kind of show you who's talking and stuff like that. And it has also like their names and such. That's a very that's like kind of built into analog horror since the Mandela catalog, I think. I'm also actually kind of curious where's that from, like what that's from prior to the Mandela catalog stuff. Like the only other thing I think I've seen that in is like certain like news broadcast correspondence situations, or even like the Metal Gear Solid games have like Solid like contacting, like it's like Ocelot.
Yeah, it is
like
very
that kind
much
of
like that.
But I think it's also pulled from like, it's also like inspired by like news broadcast correspondence, where like you just see like a person's like image, and then like they're because they don't have footage, but they have like their radio, they have like they have radio signal.
Mm-hmm.
So I am curious where, also with regards to some of the footage, I'm really curious where the raptor footage is pulled from, because like some of it looks like it's not like fully like finished, but again, like they make do with like some of the graininess and the effect, the filters they add on. But like some of it looks like it's almost like a puppet, like more of a puppet, like roaming through like a thing. So it almost made me wonder if it was like some behind the scenes material from the original films, like some sort of like some cut scenes that they didn't like finish like properly like setting up or anything like that, or even like from some kind of theme park, or even like a stage show, because there's a couple of like stage productions that involve raptors that are actually canon to the Jurassic Park storyline.
Really?
Yeah, there's actually one involving troodons that's like apparently canon to the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World stories. But yeah, so I was curious about the raptor shots that we get later in this video. I will say I'm a little disappointed because at no point, so what really pulls me in for this video was actually the title card that we get, or like the little image we get when you're looking at this on YouTube of the raptor looking directly at the camera, like that shot, that scene. And I, at no point in this video do I remember seeing that.
Some of the murders at the end, right?
Yeah, but like I don't know if it's because it's just so grainy, but like I tried looking around for it and I could not pinpoint where that is in this video. Like maybe it just happens so fast, but I don't know. And then voice work in this one is also pretty good. Though Marco sounds a little bit more Russian than Costa Rican to me.
No accents enough to know.
Yeah, like the accent kind of felt like a little bit more Russian than like a Latino Costa Rican kind of accent. But other than that, like the voice acting is really good. And then onto like character actions and plots here. I like how this uses the soft canon of the Jurassic Park Telltale games. So the Telltale game Jurassic Park the video game is considered soft canon. So it's like take it or leave it sort of like canon.
Want to be canon, it can.
Yeah, if they want to, they can, but like it's not it may not technically be canon. Because
can it be canon?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it can if you want it to be canon. I'll shut up now. I'm
done. And the reason I say this because like they reference Dr. Sorkin, who's a character from the game. I don't know if they're referenced in the movies at all. But also and then they also reference Dr. Harding, and also Dr. Harding having his daughter on the island at the time, because like the character Regis is taking care of the daughter for some time. And in the video game, Dr. Harding was the vet tech who was taking care of that sick Triceratops in the film, and he played a main character role in the game. And in which case he had his daughter. Him and his daughter got trapped on the island during the events of the movies, and so they're trying to escape. And then similarly, Dr. Sorkin was also a scientist working on the island during that power outage, but she was working with the aquatic dinos in the video game.
Gotcha.
I also really appreciate that these characters are not derpish at all, and they were just dealt a shitty hand for following corporate orders to do a secondary check of the systems. And I mean, like, even when it's like everything seems okay except, well, the light's not on the fences. Oh shit. And then they start running immediately. They immediately like it's not derpy at all. Like it's not like they're not doing something stupid. They're just they're frantically trying to survive, and unfortunately Marco bites it. And then I really dig the contrast between the advertisement promo video footage of Hammond, like, oh, you're gonna have a great time at the park. We have these wonderful prehistoric creatures, like very lethal, very very lethal, and then like cuts it, like does that, and then it intersplices
it too, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then it like intersplices that with like the dark horror material that we get of like Regis basically documenting like what happened like at the park, and what happened to him and Marco. And then it intersplices again at the very end with like after we've seen the horror of the park, we get this thing of like, again, Hammond like all nice in the promos, and so it's like, oh, we hope you enjoy your time at the park.
Yes, I did like the back and forth of that.
Yeah, it's a great staple in like horror of like having that contrast between like the optimism and then like the actual like horror of the situation. But that's all I've got for this one. For this video. So, gamer.
So I went and compared those shots that we thought were from the previous Jurassic Park thing that we did last week, and same shot mirrored though and darkened.
Okay, yeah. I mean, again,
I don't know if you want to mention this in the episode or not, because like I don't know if that's a problem.
No, I mean, again, like I don't think they're like they did this like it's a thing that happens with a lot of these like analog horrors, and even like it's just sort of a thing online of like again it's called plunderphonics, where like you pull material like from other videos and stuff like that to create your own story. So I as long as you're not like exploiting that, I don't think there's much of a problem to it. Like people can
Personally,
do.
I feel like it should like be referenced in the description though.
I do agree. Is like there should be like a credit kind of thing of like where certain videos were from and stuff of that for the material. But again, like
because like I was watching this assuming that all of this was made by this person.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then like I went into this knowing like that some of this is like definitely pulled from other things. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So we had different views.
Yeah, we came in with two different experiences.
Which is good.
Yeah. And again, like as long as like it's the person is not like profiting off of somebody else's work, like that kind of thing. Like that's when I think that's the line when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when you're trying to sell anything, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, for the quarantine pen escape, the transition and sound effects, like that happen in between the actual footage and like the words on screen and stuff like that. Every time it happened, it gave me flashbacks to Five Nights at Freddy's.
It's because they're using the very similar, if not the same, sound effects.
Yeah, it might be the same or just similar, as you said, because they're both things using VCR level tapes and monitors, so it makes sense.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure I've heard those VHS sound effects before. Like maybe not even in like Five Nights at Freddy's, but like in other like VHS films things. Again,
I'm sure.
Again, I think that's just the nature of like the sort of like hodgepodge format that the person that a lot of analog horror stuff does, and that this one specifically does.
Yeah, like the guy who did Five Nights, he probably didn't create that sound effect. He got it somewhere. That's probably the Wilhelm scream of static transition effects.
Yeah, you know, I've heard it from like it's actually been from I think it's Top 5. Like it's actually the YouTube channel is called Top Fives, and it's like they're like basically a horror series, or it's from Sir Spooks maybe even. And basically they're like a top 5 scariest videos like compilation series channel. But like I swear I think that's like it must be like a staple like sound effect, because like I think I've heard that every time they use that for like just their introduction of like putting in a tape and like show like showing a TV screen, or like showing like their logo and such. So yeah.
But yeah, moving on from there. When the cameraman is like walking around the grounds, specifically when it looks like that video game, because it is that video. Jurassic Dream, I believe you said it was called.
Yeah, that's
yeah, it kind of pulled me out of it though, honestly, out of the story being told.
It doesn't help that like all the footage up to that point, except for like maybe like the one like car scene, it is all live action. Right?
Well, yeah. Well, no, like I get like it's live action, and then it cuts to like a CGI, possible CGI shot of driving around with the wilderness there, and then it cuts to footage from Jurassic Dream, where it's straight up. It is a video game, like that is not GoPro footage or camcorder footage.
Yeah, it's meant like it was enough that like, oh, like we'll just add some filters and stuff, and like just visual. Imagine that it is still like the same continuity, the same. It's supposed to be real, kind of thing. It's where you're supposed to. Again, this is definitely. I think a lot of analog horror. It's definitely like you're supposed to suspend your disbelief a little bit more, but it will pull you out if you like in certain ways. So I don't know why I'm trying to like defend it so hard.
No, you're right. It's just like when I was going into this, considering every other video I've been seeing, I've been trying to think of it with as much immersion as possible and stuff like that. And then this one jumps around mediums a lot, so it's kind of hard to get my claws kind of grabbed into this one, into the plot.
Sink your teeth into it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh no, the Dino Man infection is spreading.
You know what? I'm fine with that.
You're now the Gallimimus in yellow.
I don't know which one I would be.
Well, I'm clearly the raptor cultist.
Well, yeah, I guess. Isn't that T-Rex head that you have for Halloween, though?
Yeah. Or the review compy.
The review compy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The review copy of the galley in yellow.
Yep.
And what would Mikey be?
Mikey would be the
What's the E stand for? E dinosaur.
The E stands for elasmosaur.
Wow, you just pulled an E. I don't know why I'm surprised. Actually.
I am the Dino Man.
I'm shocked that you pulled an E named dinosaur just out of thin air.
I'm pretty sure elasmosaur is a plesiosaur, it's one of the aquatic reptile dinosaurs, not even like an actual, technically not a dinosaur, but just an aquatic reptile.
Nice.
Let me double check. Elasmosaur.
Super important.
Yeah. Elasmosaurus was one of the long-necked aquatic reptiles, or aquatic dinosaurs.
Nice. Well, I'm super impressed now.
Thank you.
But moving on.
Yes.
So with this and the one that follows, there's a lot of tracking issues in these, with the deterioration of the film and all that. These are in real bad shape, considering these tapes were probably realistically only watched a handful of times in the lore.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're this wrecked, they're not wrecked through massive use. They're wrecked because maybe these tapes were damaged in the retrieval or something like that. I don't know, but there's a lot.
It's one of those things that again, Analog Horror does it, but Slender Vlogs did it before Analog Horror, with they would use tracking and video distortion as not just as a visual effect to tell you that the corruption of the Slender Man's nearby, but also as almost sometimes as a transitionary transition between scenes, and even just to cover up things.
I thought it was just when the Slender Man was around.
No, there's different kind of purposes it serves depending on the creator of the Slender vlog and these kind of videos. So
yeah, and this one, it does seem like the static is put here specifically to stitch together the scene transitions.
Yeah. Also, I'm actually watching the part right now where they're their jeeps are going through the rainy, stormy night jungle, and I'm noticing that they probably had the tracking going on in that one the way they did, just to kind of hide the fact that it's the footage is well, first off, it's rainy, so there might be some distortion because of that, but also probably just to hide the fact that it's technically CGI. So
yeah. But yeah,
again, not, and it's not like they're trying to hide this, oh no, this is totally real. They're not trying to do it super hard. It's just to try and help blend the live action with the CGI stuff. It's similar to what movies try to do with when they try to mesh visual effects with actual footage together.
Yeah, I kind of wish there were that scene specifically where it cuts from words, and then it's having a hard time showing stuff, and then it shows it kind of, and then it tracks. I wish it did that specifically more, because of how corrupted and messed up this whole thing is, because a lot of the times it switches to a new scene, and then it's just that new scene with a little bit of deterioration issues, and then it glitches away to another scene. But I don't know. It seems like the scenes themselves, most of them are too clean.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everything between it is so fucked up.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. The transitions were weird. That's the TLDR on that.
Okay. Yeah.
So actually, because you were speaking of the night shot with the Jeeps, that's all done relatively well enough, but the Jeeps have no sounds.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're not electrics back then.
Well, actually, specifically for Jurassic Park, the tour Jeeps, the Jeeps that the characters were in when the T-Rex attack happened, they were basically bumper cars. Like there was a track that went down the middle of the road for those cars, and they were basically electric.
Yes, those ones were, but not these.
But yeah,
ones.
Specifically all the utility jeeps that like the staff used and like Muldoon and all them used and stuff to go like search for Alan and the kids and such. Those were all like clearly stated in the films as being like diesel or like gas powered jeeps. So
I'm pretty sure they said like when we found the kids or something, he's like, "Oh, we can't use this because we have no power." It's like, "Don't worry, I have a gas jeep over here." Like he specifically calls it that. Yeah.
Yeah, because the power is. I was like, "Don't worry, we've got gas for the jeeps." That's
Yeah. But yeah,
we're such dino nerds.
That's fine. That's exactly what we
like,
should be.
It's like the fact that like I'm able to like pull. It's like, oh, actually, in the movies, it's established. Yeah, I get it.
It's not that weird. They're not weird cult classics, you know.
Yeah, they're actually like major like blockbuster films.
Yeah. My next sentence of this note, like there should also be, in regards to sounds, like rain. The rain hitting the roof was louder than the sound of like the windshield wipers or the sounds of the engines here.
Yeah,
like the sound part of this could have used some tweaks. And also there were no running lights on the Jeep ahead of them, or rather the turning signal lights were acting as running lights. Yeah. Unless they're just being reflective from the headlights of the current Jeep hitting them, which means he's driving with no rear lights on at all in that case.
Which ain't great.
Like when they're stopped, you can see that he has the brake lights on and they turn off when he moves. So those work, but like also they don't glow. It's just kind of like it's a dark red texture when they're off, and it's a lighter red texture when they're on, but there's no bloom, which I feel like would make it look a lot nicer. But
yeah,
this could have been pulled from
a game or
it might also be from the Jurassic Dream or something like that.
Yeah, because
he's just kind of showing driving around stuff.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I want to actually honestly download that game because it seems like there's no dinos in it, but there's just sound effects of dinos like off in the distance, and I think it does have a weather system that they've implemented. So
nice.
There would actually be and you can drive the vehicles and stuff like that to get to places and such around the island.
Just to be in there like with the vibes.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's basically a vibe game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think I follow the guy on TikTok or there's somebody on TikTok that showcases a lot of those videos, and man, that game is just like the way it's showcased sometimes is like this is like a cozy horror game. Because
yeah, pretty much
you know nothing's gonna get you, but you still get like the creepy like sounds and stuff like that occasionally. It's like Minecraft except dinosaur sounds.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the indoor scene with the raptors walking around was pretty well done.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. Specifically, like the first shot of it, he's a little bit like a puppet, a little bit. But the second shot is like way better. Where is it? Or that might have been in the second video. I don't remember. Quickly watching. No, the second shot in this. It looks nice with him walking around like that. I don't know if that's CG or not.
I think it might be puppetry, because again, like there was CGI done in the movies, but there's also a lot of like animatronic work done. So
the first shot here of the raptor staring him down in the darkness, what's even happening there?
I think that's a scene. I think that's actually like a distorted, dark scene from like the movie with the kids in the kitchen. That looks almost like the area around it looks almost identical to the scene. It almost looks like the side on either side of that scene. It looks like those like the culinary counters and stuff like that in the kitchen. Right. So I think that's actually a scene either from the movie, directly from the movie, or again like a behind the scenes scene that they never used.
Mm-hmm.
And then
either way, it's cool seeing them walk around and trying to find them.
Yeah, and again, like that. Then there's also that shot again of like the raptor head walking around. I think that it's got to be from something. I'm not familiar with it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in regards to the dino scene, he's walking around. It does look good, but like when he gets attacked and presumably killed, I find it weird that the camera just shuts off immediately when he gets attacked, almost like it's a jump scare at the end of a video.
That's probably what it was. Honestly, it was just
yeah. I just feel like it would have more impact if he gets bit and the camera falls to the ground and like you hear him still being murdered while the camera's just sitting there on the ground.
Yeah.
But if this is pulled from a movie or something, you have to work with what you have. You pause it when it looks like he's just biting, or whatever.
Maybe even have like his final death screams playing as Hammond is like saying, "Well, I hope you enjoyed your time at the park."
Yeah,
it'd be like so dark,
mm-hmm.
but it'd be good. It'd be effective, I think.
It would.
All right, yeah. So on to InGen 1993 incident cover-up. So on to the rundown for this one. Again, go check it out on the YouTube channel, or look up InGen 1993 incident cover-up. But the rundown, the gist is basically it's a follow-up to the previous video. It's a documentary style expose kind of video, made in an effort to shed some light on InGen's dubious attempts to cover up the deaths of people at Jurassic Park during the incidents of the film. This expose focuses on the loss of Marco Gutierrez, who was a local to mainland Costa Rica and whose family is understandably angry that even with a payout to stay silent, that InGen won't give them back the body or say what happened outside. There was an accident. We then get further confirmation of Marco's death and new footage of Edward Regis calling the death in and begging for assistance from Mr. Arnold back at the main facility of the island. Mr. Arnold was, of course, Samuel L. Jackson in the movie, in the whole like hold on to your butts. Like he was basically the head of like staff and stuff like that. So yeah, on to actual thoughts and technical standpoint stuff for me. I have to ask, these are some really cool sweeping Costa Rican panning shots. And they work for like this kind of like as like the like panning shots as there's like the video being narrated and such. But how are they getting drone footage in the early to mid 90s?
Oh fuck! Is it drone footage? Oh shit!
It honestly feels like drone footage. I don't think like because the only other time like in the 90s, the way you'd get these kind of shots would be through a helicopter.
Yes,
and some of them are a little too. To me personally, like I could be wrong, but to me it seems like it seems like they're too close to the ground to be a helicopter shot. I could be wrong. But these honestly these do feel like like drone footage that has just been like filtered and made grainy for like to try and make it look like it's from the 90s.
Ah, fuck, you're right.
I don't mean to. Again, like it's there again. Allowances for like suspension of disbelief, but these are straight up drone shots.
Because they're so smooth.
Yeah.
So you know what? If there was camera shake, take a shot. It would help.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like some shots that were like not as close to the beaches, because I feel like there's a couple of shots that are a little bit farther away that work, but like the closer it gets, the closer it becomes apparent that this is just a this is clearly a helicopter. This is clearly a drone, not a helicopter.
Yeah, because it's like, is he landing on the beach with the helicopter?
Yeah, or slowly like people are walking and like they're slowly like panning and like hovering over, and I'm pretty sure the helicopter needs to be moving a little bit more. Yeah, it needs to be moving quicker than that. So,
I mean, realistically, I'm sure that this is like
old footage. Or
from some like free to use what's the word?
Free public domain or free.
There you go.
Or you're being a little that's being a little generous. I'm pretty sure this could easily just be pulled from some other YouTube channel.
I mean, maybe, but
again, like these two videos have a lot of plunderphonics to them, so like they're just pulling from pre-existing stuff. Again, it's the whole like I'm assuming this is more of just like a fan video, so it's fine. Like they're not making a profit off it, but
God
But yeah,
damn,
that
bro.
again. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry to ruin the allure, the magic of that.
Yeah, it's fine. Realistically, though, it's not like those shots are anything to do with the story itself.
No, and actually, in fact, they work because that's the kind of those are the kind of shots you'd have in a documentary style expose, where they're
Yes.
like they're showing like a location and also like having narration over top of it. So it's structured. This documentary style thing actually kind of goes into my next quote or my next comment. It's done really well. I think it's well structured.
Yes.
And the voice work in this is solid and believable. Like not just the guy who's like doing the narration for this one, but also like Marco's cousin, who's it sounds very believable. It sounds Costa Rican, or sounds like he's from a South American country, but also like sounds like he's in pain later on in the interview over the death of his cousin.
Sure, actually, yeah,
So like it
like
actually
starts breaking down.
Yeah, and like it's good. Like it's good voice work.
And you can tell even through the distortion of his like anonymous filter thing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've got for technical standpoint stuff. Character actions and plot wise, it's nice that this ties into the cover up of killings that happened on the island and the low key payouts that InGen did to silence people between Jurassic Park and the Lost World movies. It's actually referenced in at the beginning of the Lost World. Like there was a bunch of payouts for like that cover up, to kind of like keep quiet about like the deaths and stuff like that happened on the island. So it's good that they actually like elaborate more on that and like the fact that like more than just the people in the movies died on the island as a result of the power failures and such.
And you actually like feel it more because like in the movies they might say that there's payouts and stuff, but like when you hear it from a member of the victim's family, it's a lot more real.
Yeah, I mean, even like because the one of the main characters in the Lost World, Ian Malcolm, he was against the payout stuff and actually tried to like and tried to get the word out about InGen's situation, like InGen's incident there, and InGen basically worked basically at sabotaging his name, like basically destroying his reputation. So,
Pulse.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's an evil it's a malign corporation that has been genetically engineering dinosaurs from frog DNA and samples found in fossilized amber. Like, yeah, they were never really like their heads. They have a problem of having a very optimistic and very like idealistic CEO, but the rest of the company is kind of morally dubious.
Sure, yeah.
And actually, even in the book, actually, Hammond is completely a completely different character. Like he's way more like cold and calculating and corporate than they made him in the movies.
So they decided to make him likable and just make all of his like investors the bad guys,
Basically,
instead of him also being a bad guy.
Yeah. And then the next thing I have here for this one, also it also goes into the fact that InGen was hiring locals on the mainland for their park, which makes sense. Like a corporation would definitely like seek out like seek employees from a local area, especially like somewhere farther away from like say like America, like the States, if that's where like they're based out of and such.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'd be using like local hands and such. And again, like the whole aspect of like they were told like Marco was told like he like basically he was under an NDA. He wasn't able to like say anything to his family, but he was able to say like it's good money. There's some kind of like zoo or something going on there with big animals. But that's all he could say really. He couldn't say what kind of animals they were and such.
Yes.
And again, a nice tie-up kind of conclusion to the tragedy of the previous video, where we get like, because that video came out again. I think it came out like last year. Let's see. Oh, it came out 11 months ago. The quarantine pen escape video, and then this one came out a month ago as of this recording. So it's sort of like we had that video for like almost a year. That previous video. And then this one's sort of like a nice tie-up, kind of like clarification and conclusion as the events of what happened there. So just tying up the story, basically. So yeah, I think they go well together. They kind of almost hand in hand, these two videos. But that's what I've got for actual thoughts for this one. So Gamer, you're up.
Not much to talk about in this one, honestly. First one though is, so it basically says like shit went south, dude died. Not many people were willing to talk openly about it, but a cousin of his is willing to speak, but the reporter didn't want to say who he is. So okay, but like, how many fucking cousins does this victim have?
I mean,
like,
I come from an Italian family, like, and we've got a lot of we got a lot of cousins.
Okay, but like the way he talks, it talks like he is someone who is like very closely related to him, and he sees him on a regular basis. Like,
yeah,
it should be pretty easy to figure out who he is.
I did also gotta have some thoughts about that, whereas like we're getting this like the muffled voice, though you can't tell which cousin it is, but like we know it's Marco Gutierrez and one of his cousins that like he talked to on the regular. It's good. We're like, somebody could find out who that cousin is.
For sure. Plus, like, you could tell through, if you just speak to all of his cousins, I'm sure you'll be able to find out which one it is. Because like he has like vocal tics, like where he says like on this screen here it says like, no, not like normal animals, okay. Like he keeps saying okay like all the time, even when it's like not something. Like he called very quick, okay. Like, but he sounds very nervous, okay. Like he says okay all the time. You just talk to all of his cousins. Yeah. Who's the guy that says okay all the time? Him? Kill him. Let's go.
Corporate espionage.
Yeah. But that being said, I really like the way that the guy talked. Like it was very believable and real.
Yeah, it actually felt like an interview.
Yes, for sure. And then the ending monologue with like the picture of Hammond there.
Yeah.
Is that from one of the movies? Or is that pulled from another movie that Richard Attenborough did, who is the actor of Hammond?
Who played Hammond. I think that's actually pulled from one of the movies. It might have been from, again, bonus, like extra, like some extended material or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's actually from it might be from The Lost World, or from even one of the Jurassic World movies. I think there's like a painting of him.
Oh, I don't mean the painting, I'm sure, but I'm talking about like the words.
Oh, the words? That is another interesting one. Again, it might be from a video game. It might be from extended, some bonus material or video footage. I recognize what he's talking about. It's a famous quote about basically like the hubris of an emperor or an empire.
But it's so like vague. He's not referencing anything Jurassic Park, so I feel like it could be from another movie that he did.
That's okay, that's what you're getting at. Yeah, no, that's true. It could also be from another movie. It could also be a voice AI.
Yeah, that was my other thing I was going to bring up.
Yeah, because it doesn't sound like an AI. But like, yeah, I
pretty good these days though.
Let's see if we can find. I'm gonna just quickly do a Google search and see if we can find Richard Attenborough. You said his name is?
Yeah,
Ozymandias. I apparently do not know how to spell Ozymandias.
Shocking.
Yeah.
A few hours later.
The poem Ozymandias, written by Percy Shelley, is originally published in 1818. This is from a YouTube video's description, as read by John Hammond Attenborough in Jurassic Park Trespasser. Oh, so it's from a video game.
From an actual Jurassic Park.
It's from Jurassic Park. Yeah, it's from Jurassic Park Trespasser. Again, another soft canon video game.
Nice.
Yeah. Which, yeah, again, it makes sense because that poem does kind of fit like kind of John Hammond's kind of theme of the movie, like the theme around Hammond and like his wish for the park and stuff like that. Like he built the park and like had all these lofty goals for it, and then it just kind of crumbled to dust. Like that's his legacy kind of thing.
Tensions, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an adequate quote or like quoted poem. But yeah, now we know where that's from. So yeah.
Hooray! We learned a thing.
Yay!
And that's also all I got left to say about this one.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, then I guess we'll move into final thoughts for both videos. Because that's kind of treat them as the same thing, even though they're like 11 months apart. I'm gonna recommend it. Again, like similar to the appetizer we had today. Especially to someone who likes Jurassic Park and wants to see some of the more elaborate bits of the incident around the first film. Like, because this is clearly like these guys were like the quarantine. At first, I thought that this was the one where like there's like something like some kind of like some ancient disease that had gotten them. But then I realized this is basically the quarantine ban, because in the movie, this is the raptor that was like had killed some of the other ones in its pack for dominance, and that's why they had to keep it quarantined away from the other raptors. So this is basically, again, this is an elaboration on what was already going on in the movies. And we just get to see more of unfortunate victims of like that were employees of InGen during the incidents of Jurassic Park. Which again, I like that. Like I like seeing like that's kind of like I think the appeal to me for like the Jurassic Park movies nowadays, anyways, is like these people like made a park, like an amusement park and a zoo basically for dinosaurs, but because of like certain situations, things went wrong, and now they have to, and now it's like sort of like a corporate horror mixed in with like the almost like a disaster film kind of situation.
Yeah.
Like you're dealing with like it's man versus nature, and also man versus there's got to be like there's like a whole thing of like man or man versus the corporation, or man versus business, or versus
man versus the man.
Man versus the man. Hang on, like I'm sure there's one of those like instances of like man versus that's like man versus the company.
I like man versus the man.
Man versus the man. Man versus, I guess it could just be man versus man in this case as well. But yeah, it's definitely a it's an interesting look at like, again, like what can go wrong in like these systemic situations of like, you think like this corporation spent enough money to like make things safe, and like really they didn't, because shit went wrong.
Jurassic Park is basically worst case scenario of the series.
Yeah. Like you'd think after like, because they had, what's even worse is like there was a hurricane before that they knew of that affected the park when they were first starting to build and stuff like that, and they didn't think to to install further like they're in an area that has heavy hurricane situations. You're not going to build like going to like back up your systems and stuff like that to withstand a hurricane.
Why would you need to do that? There's no hurricanes there.
I know, yeah, exactly. It's like, why would I do this?
Yeah.
We spared no expense.
That cuts into our profits, sir.
Except Hammond's whole fucking motto was we spared no expense. Well, yeah, clearly you spared no expense, literally.
Yeah.
You didn't spend you spent no expense on this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah, just like, yeah, it's definitely the whole thing of like corporate greed and corporate incompetence and systems breaking down, basically. And I think that's what I like about these, like this analog horror, like is kind of accentuating that and showing like also the human element, like with like, because we get to also hear like the tragedy of like, again, like Marco Gutierrez was in the first video was just like, he was just one of the other staff guys that unfortunately got killed by the raptor. And then we get this documentary expose video that's trying to like expose InGen for its corruption and for its like paying off people to hush money, basically. And we see the more human element because like this affected his family because of course it would, because like he was basically bringing money in from InGen, like it was good money that he was able to help with his family with, and then he died.
And you get to hear about how badass apparently he was. He was basically the Rock.
Yeah,
some huge strong guy doesn't take no shit. It's like, yeah, I'll do it for the money.
And
yeah.
And then of course he got and even though he was like badass, he got eaten like just as quickly because it was a fucking raptor.
Yep.
It's
you
like
be as fearless as you want to mundane, normal, like human problems until a raptor's staring you in the face.
Yeah, it's like Muldoon, the raptor hunter guy in the first movie was
Yes.
like throughout the whole movie he was like this like really big raptor expert, like he knew how dangerous they were. He was like always careful about it, and then he gets fucking punked by them. Like clever
really
girl.
does.
What's funny is in the movie he dies. In the novel, he survives that.
Really?
and escapes the island with the rest of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Muldoon actually survives that raptor attack and gets on the helicopter.
Realistically, if anyone was supposed to survive Jurassic
would have been
Park, I
him.
feel like it would have been him. But he was like one of the first to die, I think.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't
one of the first.
Technically, Mr. Arnold died. I don't know what Samuel L. Jackson's character was thinking in that movie. She's like, all right, I'm just like the corporate, like I'm a supervisor at the office. I'm just gonna take this flashlight and go to the it's just a short jog away to the breaker room bunker. I'm just gonna go there with the powers off and just hop skipping away through the jungle. That's probably not infested with raptors. Don't worry about it.
Definitely, probably not safe. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah, like, but I digress again. Again, I'm showing my nerddom about dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Yeah. Again, I would recommend this one. I would recommend both these videos, especially in sequential order.
Yes.
Yeah. Gamer.
And then
you're also, I guess, like vocal. You're also yay or nay. What was that?
Kind of like eh? Yeah, sort of like it's not yay or nay, because like with the second set of videos, like it was really heavy on the static during the transitions, which I was kind of bugged by, hence why I brought it up a bunch.
Yeah.
Story-wise, I liked that there's the focus on the one character's disappearance, and like we get to see the cover-up that InGen did on it and learn about a little bit about the character and stuff, and I like that focus.
Mm-hmm.
But like I kind of wish that the footage being shown to us was like universally the same in all of them. Like I understand why it's not, but I kind of wish it was all like done like the same person did all of the shots, so they're all the same, so it has like full immersion value. The lack of that is what kind of like brought this down a little bit more compared to the appetizer that we had, which was like really high immersion because it was all done seemingly by the same person because it's all the same type of animation and all that. And I really dug that. So like this is still very good, and again, I like the story of that. I just kind of wish it wasn't so jumpy, and that's why I'm giving it partial.
Yeah, that is sort of something. Again, it's I guess a trope of analog horror is that they're all the creators of analog horror tend to be like amateur filmmakers or editors and like usually teens and stuff like that, or like or young adults. That like they have access to the software, they have access to the internet worth of video footage. So, and they have this cool idea, but they don't have sometimes they don't have the technical prowess to do like a full video themselves from scratch. So they compile these things and almost like they sort of almost sometimes come out as like concept pieces, not even like basically like here's my idea, here's how I would implement it. If I had like a full production, I could do like these video sequences from scratch, but I don't. So here's some footage that I've like got borrowed from something else and like mixed in some static and some filters to make that try and hide some of that a little bit. But yeah, it's more of it's an experimental medium, I think.
Yes, and to that like level, like that's great, and I love that. Like hell, half the time when like I'm doing like the few times I do graphic work, digital effect work or whatever on like doing some crappy Photoshop thing, I'm not doing shit from scratch. I'm taking something and editing it a lot like this. So like I can't realistically like shit on it or nothing, and I'm not. It's just like the story being told is great, and I like it. I just wish it was fully rendered out for the purpose of telling the story that's here.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess I still would.
It's fine if you don't. I mean,
yeah. I'm still giving it partial because it has room to breathe, has room to grow for sure.
All right. And again, like this last one came out like a month ago, so like maybe they are they want to do some more stuff. We'll have to see. We'll have to keep an eye on this creator. But I think that will do it. So in all, for our appetizer, I think both of us gave a recommendation.
So full on the appetizer, bro.
Yeah, and then you got the main course.
It's like, oh fuck, man.
yeah. For our main course, I like one recommendation and one partial recommendation.
Yes.
And again, we invite you to go check these out and check out other Jurassic Park analog horror. And at some point down the road, we will do more of these. We'll tackle more into the depths that is Jurassic Park analog horror, and hopefully some other analog horror, because there's analog horror. There's so much out there that people are doing, are making of analog horror stuff. Like, yeah,
because you can do it based on literally anything.
Yeah, and there have been ones that are just like I've shared some with some other people, like Matt from Dark the Ugly, and just like I sent him one. I can't remember what it was exactly, but oh no, it was Sonic. It was Sonic the Hedgehog analog horror, and his reaction was just cursed.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, honest opinion about that. It's just like, yeah. But yeah, I guess that'll do it for this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below. This gets posted. We're all on Twitter. Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow, but without that W because his name is very long.
Yeah.
And I'm at Review Cultist. I'm also at Blue Sky as Review Cultist, so you can send me messages there. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com, where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it.
Yeah!
And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. We have special episodes, early access, and extra content there. To all our patrons, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and we honestly very much appreciate that.
Yes.
And to our listeners and the filmmakers and creators of these videos and these series, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it would be like screaming into the void. And without your creepy, spooky videos and analog horror that you post online for people to watch and enjoy and get creeped out by, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. Thank you. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
The Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.
Did you know that in Star Wars, Luke, he's like the son of Darth Vader?
What?
Did you know that?
Spoilers?
Yeah. I thought it was impossible.
Did you know there's actually a hint that Vader was Luke's father right from the get-go with his name? Because Vader in Swedish is father.
Wait, really?
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's either is it Sweden or Switzerland? It might be Switzerland. Hang on, it's Swiss. I know it's one of those.
You're not pulling my leg, are you?
No, I'm not. No, hang on. Vader etymology. Yeah, Vader does mean father in Dutch. Though though it's pronounced differently than what it sounds like. The way it's spelled is basically Darth Vader, but the way it's pronounced in Dutch, it's Vader.
Wow.
And in the Vater is also the German word for father, Darth doesn't mean anything in Dutch or German, although it does, of course, sound like dark. Hence, Dark Father.
Dark Father.
Yeah, that's why Darth Vader was named that.
Wow.
This isn't a Star Wars episode, by the way.
It's really not, but that was really interesting. How often are we going to talk about Star Wars on our Creepypasta podcast?
I mean, I'm sure there's a Creepypasta out there about the Ewoks and how fucking terrifying they would be to the stormtroopers that were stuck on Endor.
Probably right.
I've seen a ton of like dark theories about like those cute little Ewoks. They definitely ate human flesh. They like those celebrations. They were definitely cooking stormtroopers up and eating them in their celebrations.
Yeah,
like, using their helmets for drums. Yeah, that wasn't the only thing they were using from the bodies.
Probably also used for like soup and stuff like that.
Yep,
made from their brains.
Mm-hmm. But
we should move on from this.
Back to from one Spielberg adjacent film to another. Back to Jurassic.
Yeah, see, there's the connecting tissues there.
Yeah, although Spielberg technically didn't have anything to
okay,
do
yeah, whatever.
I'll stop.
It's good enough.